Welcome back to Tech Rants. My name is Q, and today I'm going to be giving you my full review of the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Now, before we get started, if you like the content, please leave a like on the video, comment down below what you guys think about this and any other videos, subscribe to become part of the family, tell your friends, all that other good stuff, and if you really enjoy the content, please consider making a donation via Cash App at $the Tech Rant Show. That's $TechRantsShow. Now, I'm going to try to make this review under 15 minutes, but you know how I am. It's no promises. So, I've been using the iPhone 14 Pro Max for about 3 weeks at this point. And let me start off by saying this. I know plenty of times when I first started this channel, even though I have bought $1,000 phones, now this is the most expensive phone I have, the $1,100 phone, I still feel the same way I did when I started this channel 5-6 years ago. The days of paying $1,000 for a smartphone are kind of ridiculous to me. Because we have devices like, it's back here. It's all the way back there. I don't feel like reaching. The Google Pixel 7. Matter of fact, let me get it. We have the Google Pixel 7. This is an amazing phone at $599. You also have the iPhone SE 2022, which a lot of people might say, oh no, that's not really the best phone or whatever have you. It is what it is. But the iPhone 14 Pro Max, if you're going to spend $1,000 for a phone, $1,100 for a phone, this is what you want to do. Now, I love the Pixel 7. I think that's the best Android phone of 2022. We've discussed that, so I'm going to toss that to the side. But the the iPhone 14 Pro Max. If you're going to spend this type of money on a phone, is the price still a little high? Absolutely. But this is how you want it to be done. Now, I've already went over the specs, did that in an unboxing video, but now let's just talk about it a little bit. So I'm going to tear it down. We're going to talk about what I've thought about using this phone, and we're just going to go through everything. First of all, build quality. It feels really good. It has a titanium sides, ceramic back, ceramic sealed glass on the front. No, stainless steel on the side. Sorry, stainless steel. So it feels very premium. It's got a nice weight to it. And for this to have a 6.7-inch display, the phone's really not that big. I can actually put this in my gym pants just fine, and I don't really have any issues. Now, like I said, you do feel it. It's got some weight to it. It's definitely a lot heavier than my iPhone 13. Definitely a lot heavier than the Pixel 7. But it feels so good. It has such a premium feel. That ceramic back, it feels so good. And I said this before. It kind of reminds me of the Essential phone. It had the ceramic back, and this just feels so nice in the hands. It's got that squared off design that kind of takes you back to the classic iPhones. Now, if they just made the buttons round, I think that would be dope. Power button is right in the middle, where it should be on the right side. On the left, you got your volume up and down. Very clicky. And you have a silent switch. I think more companies should adopt the silent switch. On the back, you got the 3 cameras on the back. 48 megapixel 212s. On the front, you got your Face ID sensor, which works 100% of the time. Stereo speakers. And this one in the US, when you buy an iPhone, you don't get an eSIM. I mean, you don't get a physical SIM. You only get an eSIM. Now, you guys can sit here and debate with me all you want and say, oh, I don't know how I feel about that. I get it. I've been using eSIM ever since I've started using Pixels. And honestly, personally, I've never had any major issues. But that's just me. All right? So, I'm going to go ahead and put this back in the case. If I can find the case. All right. I seem to have misplaced my case. So, I'll be right back. Let me find it. I think it fell on the floor. All right, I am back, and I have the case. Now, this case was very cheap. It's like $10 on Amazon. I don't use outer boxes. I don't see the point of them. I do have Apple Care, so before you guys start getting in the comments, oh, he doesn't protect his phones, please. His phones was expensive. Now, we'll say this. I know I told you guys before. I got it on a promotion from AT&T, $1,000 off. So it definitely makes it more of an enticing offer. So I only paid 200 bucks for this phone when it's all said and done. But anyway, that's besides the point. So the build quality is definitely terrific. It feels so premium. Now, Apple's kind of sticking with the if it ain't broke, don't fix it model. They've been using this design since the iPhone 10 a little bit. They made little updates. Of course, the 14 Pro Max, instead of having the notch, it has the pill shape cut out up at the top. I don't know if you guys can see that a little bit. And it is what it is. I mean, it kind of changes up everything. But the phone feels very good to use. And it just, I don't know, it's just very comfortable in the hands. And it's, like I said, it's really not that much bigger than my 13. But overall, build quality, I have to give the build quality 10 out of 10. This is my favorite phone that I've held. I like the weight that it has. It, even though it's a big phone, it doesn't feel all too big, but it's got enough weight, and you definitely know you're holding something premium in your hand. So definitely build quality, I'm gonna have to get that a 10 out of 10. It's just you can't go around that. Let's talk about performance. Well, let's talk about biometrics. Face ID works 100% of the time. Boom, 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 boom. My first iPhone with Face ID that I bought was the 13 mini, and I was very concerned because I had just, I used iPhones with the home button, and on from an accessibility standpoint, with my visual impairment, I didn't know what to expect. But after using the iPhone 13 mini, and now I'm using the 14 Pro Max, Face ID is terrific. And it was a poll posted and it asked everybody, well, do you miss Touch ID? To a degree, I do. But what I realized when I'm using my iPad, I'm so used to just looking at the camera. And and that's something I kind of struggled when I was using the Pixel 7, even though it does have Face ID on the Pixel 7, but it's not as robust. But I'm sitting here using this, and I'm so used to just looking at the phone, open it up. Can't do that on the iPad, so I'm kind of getting used to the fingerprint sensor. So actually, it would be nice if they came out with like an under display or a side mounted. But Face ID is terrific, and I absolutely love the Apple gestures. I think the Apple gestures work way better than Android gestures, in my personal opinion. It's all subjective, but I love the gestures on iOS, and I love Face ID. It is just wow. I forgot all about Touch ID. So biometrics definitely that gets a 10 out of 10. Or no, I'm gonna give it a 9 because I think they can implement the side mounted fingerprint sensor if they wanted to, or under display. But it is what it is. But Apple, yeah, you guys can do better. Let's talk about performance. Apple A16 Bionic chip, very nice, very fluent, no slowdowns whatsoever. This has a 120 hertz refresh rate, and honestly, in real world difference, you really don't know. I don't use the on display, always on display, but the 120 hertz is on because I mean I paid $1,100 for the phone, so I might as well let it run at its full capacity, and it works. The screen flies through. Coupled with 6 gigs of RAM, this thing is a beast. The A16 just powers through everything. I can do everything, and it doesn't get hot. It doesn't slow down. It does everything that I needed to do, and then some. This thing is a workhorse beast, and you can honestly see why they say it's the fastest chip on the market. This thing is like that. It just works. No issues. Drop test. Now let's talk about battery life. We don't need to talk about. I never talk about cameras in my review because of my situation, and plus, I mean, in this case, iPhone cameras they just work. Okay, they just work. Everybody knows it. It is what it is. But let's talk about battery life. Battery life is the one thing on this phone that has impressed me the most. Now I've read the reviews and all that stuff. I'm human. I'm a consumer. Now, from what I've read, the 14 Pro Max does not have the it doesn't have better battery life than the 13 Pro Max because 13 Pro Max had a bigger battery, yada yada yada. Let me say this: if the 13 Pro Max had better battery life, that's kind of hard to imagine and it's kind of hard to believe. I have used this phone extensively throughout the day. I'm in the gym for at least an hour. So when I leave, like say I leave my house at 10:30, I'm in the store, I'm making phone calls, I'm listening to music, I'm at the gym, I'm working out, I'm sweating, I'm doing everything, I'm texting at the gym, I'm doing all that. I leave the house at 10 o'clock, 10:30 in the morning, and my battery's at 100%. When I come back home, about an hour and a half, 2 hours later, been doing all this, using the gym, listening to music on my AirPods, making phone calls, all that other good stuff. The battery is only at about 96, 95% when I come home, after about an hour and a half, 2 hours. That is terrific battery life. The lowest I've ever gotten this battery down to at night when I went to bed was 24%. And that's because I really, really pushed it. But typically when I go to bed and I put this on the charger, I'm putting it on the charger between 35 to 50%. This battery is terrific. Now, with Apple, numbers don't matter. Size doesn't matter. Giggity. Um, so it has a 23 milliamp hour battery, 4,323 milliamp hour battery. I think the 13 Pro Max had a 4,359 milliamp, 49 milliamp hour battery, or something like that. This here, oh, 4350, sorry, 4,350 milliamp hour battery. This here, yes, it's smaller. I've never used the 13 Pro Max, so I can't compare it to that. But the battery life on this is terrific. I get, like I said, take it off charge at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. When I go to bed, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, 35, 40%. Like last night, put on charger, 38%. And I used it heavily. I was on a podcast. I was doing all this other stuff, doing work, like talking on it, texting, listening to music. 35%, no, 38% last night. I went to bed about 2, 3 o'clock this morning. So the battery life on this is just, man, I can't kill it. I've tried. I've yet to try to get it below 20%. The only time I did that was the first night, because when I first got it, it was like 80% charge. And then I downloaded all my apps and stuff like that, and then I just let it drain or whatever. But other than that, this thing is it just pulls through. I can't get it to die. I can't, and I'm tried. I can't, just on purpose, just to see how well it can take a beating, and it takes a beating well. I don't even know. I know I sound like a hype beast. I am. I'm being a hype beast because I've used so many phones throughout my life. I've had a couple budget phones that have held up. Off the top of my head, the Honor 7X had almost as good battery life as this. The Galaxy J7 Perks had awesome battery life. But this here, out of all the iPhones I've owned, and I've owned quite a few. I've owned the 8, I've owned all the SEs, I've owned the 13 min. This has the best. Of course, it is for $1,100. It's better. But I've had the Note 9, and it didn't even have the best battery life. When it came out at the time, of course, whatever, things were different. The Pixel 7 Pro has um, the Pixel 7 Pro has a little bit of a bigger battery life than this. Smaller screen, and it runs at 90 hertz instead of 120. And the battery life on that is good, but it's not as good as this. If you use an iPhone 14 Pro Max and you go use a Pixel 7 battery life, you're going to say the battery life is trash. Because if you get used to that, it's going to frustrate you. You go to somewhere else and you're not going to get that same battery life. If you are a light user, if you are a very light user, you could probably get 2 days. You can get 2 days of battery life easily. I have actually, some days I just don't use my phone or just whatever. I've gotten 2 days. Next morning I'm at 60%, and I can power through the whole day for whatever. This thing is a beast. Now, you typically just charge it up because I don't know what my day is going to bring me, and nothing like being out and you got a dead phone. So yeah, I spend so much time on battery life because this is important. I mean, performance on this phone is wonderful, but usually you don't. Usually with these smartphones, what I'm realizing, you don't get a balance of performance and battery life. You either get one or the other, or you might get one, but then the other one might be, it's almost there, but it's not quite. This is both. You get excellent performance, excellent battery life, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say it right now. As of the moment, this is the best battery life phone that I've ever used in history, and it is the best battery phone that I've ever owned, and it's the best battery phone that you can get out of a flagship. Period. Of course, that might change when the S23 Ultra comes out, but I don't know. So yeah, enough talking about that. Now let's talk about coverage. Coverage is subjective, depending on your carrier. And AT&T, I would say AT&T holds a strong coverage in my area. But I get signal everywhere. Call quality is terrific. Data speeds are wonderful. My Wi-Fi speeds are terrific. Like, this has just been wonderful. Like, and a lot of people don't talk about call quality, but I think that's important. I mean, yeah, we're living in this digital world. Everybody's texting and all that, but call quality is very important, and this is terrific. Call quality is terrific on this phone. Coverage is great, and it holds a signal well. I'm glad that they use a newer modem on this phone, and trust me, if you buy this, you would definitely be happy. Because previous iPhones have struggled with signal connectivity. I know the iPhone 8 that I had did, the SE did. The 13 was getting there. It wasn't as the best, but definitely this is a huge improvement. And I think Apple is going in the right direction as far as iPhone connectivity. Now, I will say this one downside that I have experienced with this phone, uh, connectivity. I don't know if it's an AirPods issue. I don't know if it's an iOS issue, but sometimes connecting to Bluetooth devices, it used to be real quick. Now it's like, it is what it is. I don't even know. Matter of fact, let me see if I do it on camera. Where is my AirPods? I'm going to take my AirPods out and see how long it takes to connect. 1 Mississippi, 2. Okay. So when I'm on camera, it wants to move and do right. But sometimes I will say it takes time and it doesn't connect right away. But hopefully Apple fixes that. Doesn't happen often, but I tried to see if it'll do it on camera, but it didn't. So disregard that. But overall, Bluetooth is good. Everything on this phone works perfectly. Connectivity is just flawless. But once again, at $1,100, you would expect it to be. So then there's iOS's reliability that at the moment just can't match up to Android. This phone is going to be supported for at least another 4 years. So 2022 came out in 2022. It's definitely going to be supported to at least 2027, 2028 at the latest. So you're buying something that's going to last. Yeah, you're paying $1,100, but if I have to be honest, you're getting a good you're getting a good support system here. These are built to last. Very briefly, I'm going to go through it. I know it gets on you guys' nerves, but let's go through all the phones that are running iOS 16. The 8, 8 Plus, X, XR, XS, XS Max, 11, 11 Pro, 11 Pro Max, 12, 12 Mini, 12 Pro, 12 Pro Max, 13, 13 Mini, 13 Pro, 13 Pro Max. Of course, the 14s, the SE second generation, SE third generation. Sorry, getting a call. I'll get that in a second. So a lot of phones are running they're running iOS 16. So Apple, they have that long report that just is guaranteed to work. Now, like I said, I would recommend Apple Care if you plan on keeping your phone for, until it dies, or whatever. Definitely buy the Apple Care. You won't regret it. So overall, the iPhone 14 Pro Max, I know I probably stayed past 15 minutes. It is what it is. I don't even know. But overall, iPhone 14 Pro Max, design 10 out of 10, performance 10 out of 10, battery life 12 out of 10. It's 10 out of 10, definitely. Coverage 10 out of 10. Biometrics, I'm only giving it a 9 because it's, I really would like to see a fingerprint sensor. Um, Price, I'm going to have to get a price about a 7. It is high. It is very high, but what you're getting for it, you're paying for a premium product. And I mean, I gotta say, Apple does it well. I mean, yes, I get it. It's not everybody has $1,100 for a phone like this, and I'm not paid by Apple. But if this was trash, it was trash. It is what it is. I will tell you. I promise you that. Overall, iPhone 14 Pro Max. This phone gets a solid. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. I haven't met anything yet to give me a full 10. I know. I'm very picky, but we're getting there. We're trying, guys. So overall, 14 Pro Max. If you have the type of money, if you have a lot of money, and or you have the credit and you say, well, I'm looking to upgrade to a 14 Pro Max, definitely it is worth it. Is in a way it's worth $1,100, especially if you're just going to keep your phone for forever or whatever. And if you can get this phone on AT&T, I would even say T-Mobile. If you have the Magenta Max plan, or you have the AT&T unlimited plan, you know they're giving you $1,000 off if you trade in your old device. I think that's a terrific deal, and I would definitely say go ahead and get it. That's just my personal opinion. So overall, iPhone 14 Pro Max, I would definitely recommend it. Go ahead, check it out, guys. I appreciate you guys for watching. Please leave a like, comment down below. Let me know which iPhone, or just let me know what phone do you use on a daily basis. I don't care if it's iPhone, Android. Just let me know. Put what iPhone, or put what phone you use. Are you thinking about upgrading, and why do you use? Let's have a conversation in the comments below. Subscribe, share all the good stuff. Cash App is at the beginning of the video and will be in the description down below. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I appreciate it. Catch you guys on the next one. Please be safe. Please be blessed. Later.